I'd like to have each of the CEOs joining our show today take 45 seconds or less to share what AI solution your company delivers to franchised auto dealers. Let's go in alphabetical order. Let's start with Brian Hoang, CEO of Mia Labs. Brian, welcome to the show.
Awesome. Glad to be here. So we are Mia Labs. We are positioned as the most customizable and human-like agent for phone and text. And this is across not just fixed, but also variable ops, as well as the front desk. So we're really positioned to be your generalist receptionist that you can throw anything at. And a good way to think about us is like a staffing firm, not just a normal software vendor. Like we actively partner with you, our clients, to train a new employee who knows all of your little preferences and processes and stays forever. And so
Excellent.
we have over 150 possible configurations and really mold to your dealership.
All right. Thank you, Brian. Monik, you were on the show last Wednesday, and a lot of the feedback we got prompted this roundtable from that. Monik, give us 45 seconds on what you and your company do.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me back. So at Toma, we build AI agents for the automotive industry. We automate inbound and outbound communications over different channels, so text, voice, and for different departments, so sales, service, F&I. And in the background, while automating these conversations, we also facilitate the internal communication that happens within the store, creating this complete loop. So we generate demand and we also help convert it.
Excellent. Thanks, Monik. All right, next up, Eric Ria, co-founder and CEO of Podium. Welcome to the show.
Thanks a ton. Hey, so Podium's been around for, you guys hear the echo?
Yeah, we got a little bit of an echo. Sam will work on that. Let's do this, Eric. I'm going to come back to you in just a moment. Tasso, Roumeliotis. How'd I do, Tasso? Did I do it? Let's have you. You're founder and CEO of Numa. Would you share 45 seconds on us? Then we'll go back to Eric.
Absolutely. So at Numa, we're an AI company that focuses on what we've seen as the biggest problem at a dealership, and that's the communication crisis. It doesn't just include like missed calls, but also the fact that the average dealership takes 23 hours to respond back to a customer. So we are building AI agents that help the workflow across the entire dealership. Our initial focus is on the service department, but to provide exceptional customer service using AI agents that give your employees superpower and then are also able to step in and do some of the numbing work that you struggle to find people to do.
Excellent. Thank you, Tasso, for that. Eric, let's try you again, co-founder and CEO of Podium.
Hello, Echoless Eric here.
I love it.
Yeah, so Podium's been around for 12 years. We started it with $1,500, my co-founder and I, in 2014, because my dad had a problem with reviews. And then fast forward 12 years, we've built basically 3 years ago, we were a communication and marketing platform for dealerships and a couple other verticals. And if you used our platform, you converted customers at a higher rate, and it was great. But there were these humans that we needed to train and have them use our platform in order to get those results. And 3 years ago, we realized that GPT 3.5 was good enough that you could actually have AI take some of these inbound leads and convert them into test drives. And at first, it was very narrow what we could do. And over the last 3 years, we've built out probably the best BDC AI agent that converts leads into test drives better than humans, better than anything else out there. And it's just like the tip of the iceberg.
All right. Thank you, Eric. How do you think about ROI?
All right. So if you look, I mean, we try, and when we first got into automotive, because I'm not from automotive now. We have a monster automotive team. Look at what a dealership is. Okay. The dealership doesn't manufacture, design these beautiful cars, BMWs, right? They are the customer service element, physical customer service of the OEM. So the singular thing that you need to be focusing on, I think if you're running a dealer, and all the successful ones that we've spoken to, the real studs out there, they focus on exceptional customer service. So we've oriented our entire product not around an AI tool, a hammer looking for a nail, but how to provide exceptional customer service. Okay? Does that require human? Sometimes. So we are incorporating it in a way where the customer is having an exceptional customer experience, supplemented with AI, sometimes done completely with AI. But a lot of what we see on the ROI side is a fewfold. First of all, we're able to, when a human can't do something, we can pick it up. If there are some jobs that are, mind-numbing or after hours. We can help and rescue a whole bunch of inbounds that you get as a dealer. But if you look at from a customer service perspective, because yes, we can book appointments and kind of answer these calls and bring in more business. But look at the dealership from an operating perspective, okay? From a pure operations perspective. And if you study kind of a business like a dealership, which is like a system and a process, there are bottlenecks that restrict. So you can book a bunch of appointments, but if the bottleneck is actually, in most cases in dealership, a service advisor is severely overwhelmed. They can't handle the amount of customers. And if you look at the Google reviews, the number one reason for 1-star reviews on Google, 40% of reasons are poor communication with your service advisor. 40%. It's by a full order of magnitude greater than anything else. So if I'm able to not just book appointments, but if those appointments can't be dealt with from a communication perspective with your service advisor, who's running around, who's got the busiest job, all of a sudden, you got a sugar rush of additional revenue and appointment. That's a nice thing to have in the short term, but that long-term revenue goes away because you lose that customer. They have a bad, 82% of customers have left the dealership because of a bad customer experience, typically because the service advisor is too busy. So look at root cause from your operations. So in addition to, yes, booking appointments, where we look at value is how are we freeing up the bottlenecks in your system? Technicians, service advisors, very much and primarily, and even your BDC to be able to increase their output.
How would you calculate ROI with your tool, Monik, at Atoma?
So we automate voice and text, outbound and inbound. So I think the answer is nuanced, because you have stores that have a big BDC. They will see value in a different way, and it is measured differently, as opposed to stores that either have an outsourced BDC or like an in-house one, or maybe they don't have one. So for the larger ones, with maybe 20, 30, sometimes even 100 people, for them, they see about 50% of phone call volume reduction because the AI is handling it. Now the question is, what do you do with that 50% of the volume? Do you repurpose them to doing outbound, generating more demand? That's how like some of the larger groups, and we've actually done like case studies and published it on our website as well, with a top 150 group. I think they've been able to improve their operational margins, and by like 40% on the BDC side.
So Monik, talk to us briefly again about the voice text comment. So, and we're seeing many comments on social media. There are some that would say voice AI at this point is half baked. It's not quite there yet. Dealers agree. Like there's a difference between really interactive. What's your response to that if you're in the voice AI world right now?
So again, there are two parts to voice AI. One is, what does it sound and feel like the cosmetics of it. And then the second portion is like, how smart is it, right? And I think I mentioned this last 2 days ago as well, that there have been like tremendous improvements on both ends. One makes the consumer more likely to engage with it. And the other piece is like, it actually gives them what they want, right? And it's not just voice. I think it translates to text or emails, or because the thinking is happening, independently of the channel. So yes, it was, this is the worst it has ever been. And it will continue to improve, and it has. And you see it in like conversion rates, number of appointments booked, things like that, like number of cars that, even outbound and inbound, both are measured differently.
Thank you, Monik. So Brian, what would you say to dealers that say voice AI at this point is half baked? And if you believe that and you think it's true, at what point do you jump in the evolution of AI? Because it is moving quickly.
Yeah, I think the first comment I would make is that you would be surprised just how fast voice in general is moving and the rate of improvement. But that said, what I would say to dealers is you should also look at the big picture, because the ROI is very overwhelmingly proven. Like from 0 to 6 months, like pre-post Nia, like we take dealers that are seeing from usually like 15 to 40% appointment booking rate to 60 to 75% that we've seen. And like it, to Tasso's earlier point, like this is about managing and automating the full customer lifestyle. It's not just about the upfront appointment booking. So it's like you have this vast number of records, in your DMS, and your service advisors and they're focused on sort of the right now. And and it's like, all these, not just calls that you're missing and you're not following up on, the leads you're buying, you're not following up on like 43% of them. And customers that already, let's say they purchase a car, but you don't follow up with them on a regular basis each year after, you probably either weren't working on those leads already anyway, so there's no more that you can lose, or you are to some extent, but your staff is doing it inconsistently, or I think dealers will always say we want more.
So again, on the voice side, is it time to jump in, or does it make sense for the voice technology to develop a little bit further? Because again, thinking about it from a dealer standpoint, dealers want quick execution. They want to be efficient and effective. And we've been telling customers for a long time that, look, this digital retail thing, doing a deal start to finish online, like COVID proved to many of us that customers don't want that. And so I think sometimes we commingle the idea of AI and tech, and we say, hey, therefore, turning it over to a an AI voice, or 100% AI chat, or turning our BDC over to tech is not as good as having those people in there, right? What would you say about the voice piece? Is it there yet? And if not, at what point do you jump in?
I'd say it's very largely there. Again, like we have the ROI stats to show, like, Mia's accounting for 20+% of ROs in some of our stores, and these again, like you work up the whole funnel, like the RO, or the when they purchase a car, for example, all the way up to the conversion, and then the lead coming in and your ability to follow up on it. Like we're already voice alone, like we do text as well. We see a lot of results there as well, but like just voice, which is our sole bread and butter, our one focus to make this the best voice experience possible for like the first 2+ years of this company. Like you're already saving all this traffic that's coming in that you would have missed already again, and you are probably not follow-upping on, and you don't have the cash to blow it on scaling this and managing this BDC. So like it's already a very clear and rapid break even and positive ROI from voice alone. Then you tack on everything else like texting and inbound, outbound on top of it to follow up throughout the whole life cycle. To me, it's a no-brainer.
Okay. So let's go into. Go ahead.
And I think you're asking a pretty biased group here, obviously. Yes. I will say this. We try and be really careful about how we do it. So we run full sentiment on conversations with the customers and see whether we're trending up or down, and try and compare it to a human conversation. These are things that we need to tweak. Look, I understand the margins of a dealership are low, but they do have kind of some territorial kind of access. So there's built-in margin in this business. So it's not like a life or death thing, whether they kind of deploy something like this. I will say this on the voice side. What I don't recommend is outbound. Outbound, I mean, a show of hands of people here who like getting, spam calls from humans. Now, how would you feel if it was an AI, if the company that called you didn't even have the decency to have another human to waste your time? So we're very big believers that you have to be smart about it, and like the outbound you should be very, like you're gonna get really pissed off customer if you do that. So that's
So Tasso, I think we have a similar philosophy there, and I think where we all agree is that useless outbound is bad. If there's zero context around the consumer and what they need and why you're reaching out to this specific person, none of us like that. But if we have the context of the consumer, and let's say like it's a recall campaign, like we know the vehicle you have, we know there's an active recall, you probably want to take this thing in. Then as long as we're doing this in that thoughtful of a manner and timely as well, like that's where we see most of the value from an outbound standpoint.
How harmful is it, not you, but in your space, having other companies come in and make promises that they just can't or won't deliver on, that are aspirational? And Eric, since you, let's have you start there. You talked a little bit about voice AI. How harmful is it to get promises that aren't real?
Well, I mean, like back to voice AI thing. If you're missing 30% of your calls, on the fixed ops side, then obviously AI is going to be better at answering versus it going unanswered. So I think there are awesome use cases for voice AI. We're doing it in other verticals. We're starting to do it in auto. But this is the biggest problem with AI out there, is you can have such a sexy demo, and like, it's so good. You can build one in like one day too. That's the crazy thing is you guys have all, I'm sure these other guys are like, yes, because there are these like fly by night companies or even funded companies that have like financial backing. They show up, they show a GSM a sweet demo that's completely controlled. The person's like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. Yeah, of course it's gonna be better than whatever. And they sign up. And then like you said, there's 20,000 edge cases and these sexy demos don't translate into solving those edge cases. And then they lose trust. And then they're like, this AI stuff is bullshit. So
yes,
I think this is a tale as old as time, new technology, disruptive technology, all of the, I think these 4 companies are great and we're trying to build something of value for these dealers. And we don't, none of us are like expert dealer folks like you, but we're trying to merge technology and this dealer industry into something awesome. But then you've got 80% of the others and they're just like, hey, this is a great way to make a buck because I can go and show these flashy demos and I can get a bunch of revenue.
So how do I tell the difference, Eric? If I'm a dealer sitting in a brick and mortar who's been burned by the promises of tech undelivered and it's disrupted my operation, how do I weed it out, the good from the bad?
I mean, for us, we just have you talk to our customers. And like, by the way, we've been doing this for a couple of years now. We don't hit it out of the park every time for every customer. And we've really we've had to work our butts off to make our BDC agent excellent. And we're going for like full goal, full start to finish. Somebody walks in your door and a human didn't touch it. So I think talking to your customers, and if they have no customers for you to talk to, that's a bad sign.
Yeah. All right. Question. Go ahead, Tasso.
So, given that you're in other verticals, are you seeing the same? Because I just had my board meeting, and all companies and all verticals are seeing these kind of vibe coded, really simple solutions, and we're facing this kind of attack from these companies that really don't have anything. Are you seeing that in your other verticals as well?
Yeah, it's everywhere. It's in home services, it's in retail, it's in health and wellness, and there's like a person, a company with 2 people, and I'm not saying a company with 2 people can't be good. We were 2 people at one time.
We all started as 2 people, right?
But it's everywhere, and the good news, guys, is dealers are smart, they are shrewd, and they will not tolerate this stuff. And we've learned the hard way too. We've launched products that have been total flops, and the dealers, more than any other industry, they will cancel that like at the drop of a hat. So I think the industry is just going to go through this maturing phase where the wannabes and the ones that aren't actually trying to do the right thing are going to get flushed out. And then there'll be a couple of great companies that survive. And because this stuff is real. Like, we have a dealership that increased their test drives by 40% using our product. I'm sure you guys have similar examples. AI is real. The technology is real. It's not BS, but there is a lot of noise out there.